First of all, before we get into anything else, I'm so sorry. I know on this channel we're used to like higher quality video. Unfortunately, lots going on right now, so I'm just kind of rolling with the punches, and today the phone camera is what's come out, so we're just going to be dealing with that. Anyway, today we're doing a very exciting video because we are starting yet another project vlog. I'm going to be testing for the amazing Grace. She is a YouTuber amongst other things and a knitwear designer, so I'm going to be testing a mohair sweater that she's designed. I'm very excited about it. It's going to be a striped sweater, which I'm very excited about. I don't think I have any stripes in my wardrobe yet, so that's going to be new and exciting. I'm just about to go and have a little look at what yarns I'm going to be using for this project, and I thought I would take you guys with me. But before we get into all of that, I just wanted to say thanks for being here. Thank you for clicking on the video. If we've never met before, hi, my name is Senya. You can find me at SenDIY or Senya Elizabeth on most of my socials, and I'm so glad to have you. If you would like to subscribe and see my face more often, I make all sorts of crafty content, mostly knitting, crocheting, a little bit sewing, and occasionally just other fun as well. So if that sounds like a bit of you, I'd love to be friends, but without further ado now, let's go have a little look at some yarn. Okay, I've got you set up on the table. I've got my laptop here so we can have a little look at all the yarns that I could potentially use. As I said, this is going to be a mohair project or alpaca because it's going to be a brushed sweater, and those fibers are best for brushing. Of course, you could do this with any fiber you would like, but that's the intended look of the sweater, so that's what I'm going for. I am planning this out in Millinard, which I haven't used before, but I'm liking quite a lot. It's very easy to make collages and just like drag links and all sorts of things on your sort of this like table or whatever you would call this view. So in my starting point, I've got the sample picture of Grace's sweater in the middle and a picture of a yarn that I absolutely would like to use up for this project. This is a yarn from Swatching. I've got no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's a mohair and nylon blend. I used this for my first ever test knit like 2 years ago, I believe, for the Stevie sweater, which you might have seen on my Instagram before. And I've still got maybe a little bit less than 2 skeins of this, and I would like to use it up. It's been sitting in my stash for so long, and it's mohair, so it would be perfect for this. So I'm trying to build something around that. So let's see what we've got going on. Okay, now I've created 2 potential colorways and I'm having a hard time deciding, so I'm going to post a poll up on Instagram and you guys can help me choose. Obviously by the time this video goes up, then the sweater will have already been made, but if you would like to participate in future polls, then go and follow me on SenDIY. Anyway, these are my 2 options. So the first option I've called the Berry Reds color scheme. We've got lots of red and pink hues that really nicely work around the Swatching yarn that I had in the beginning. These are all drop skid silk, which is really good because they're the same weight. The next color scheme I've called the ice cream scoops or summer ice cream. I'm not sure. It's just really cheerful and colorful, and I'm kind of leaning towards this because I am on a color kick and I would love to use this. Also, I am using the drop skid silk lemonade colorway here, which I've already got 1 skein of in my stash, a little bit more than that actually. So that would also be 1 tick or 1 pro of this color scheme, but we'll see. I'm not sure. I feel like the Swatching yarn doesn't work as well here, but apart from that, I really like this. I'm kind of maybe leaning towards that, but I'm gonna let you guys decide. So answer the poll and we'll see what happens. So here I've got my pink swatch. Here are all the combinations that I can make using these 3 pink yarns. This is looking like a rat's nest, let's hide that. I didn't even swatch that on its own because I feel like it's quite muted. Here in the middle I held it together with this like what would you say? I think this was called like strawberry ice cream or something, but this lighter pink. I held it together with that one, and I feel like it's still a little muted. I feel like it looks a lot better with the hot pink. These two are just these colors on their own, and here I've held them together with each other, and here is the muted one with the hot pink. So maybe those would be my pink stripes then. Let's actually see if I just add these here and lay this on top. Yeah, I feel like this muted one looks kind of okay with these two, because I feel like they're a bit more muted. And these four look really nice together. But then this just like kind of doesn't mesh. So that's why I feel like if I just hold it together, because this is quite nice. This is more like what I'm going for. Let's just forget that stripe. I feel like this combination, that's going to be a really nice sweater.
Goodness, look a little rough. But anyway, hi morning vlog. It is now Monday morning and I have convinced my boyfriend to come coal plunging with me to start off the week. So
Okay, so here's where we're at. I cast on yesterday and I've worked on it a couple hours now, this morning and last night. I am on like row 27, 28 or something like that. It's been quite quick, but now what I'm thinking is I did like a twisted German cast on and I'm not obsessed with it. It's stretchier than a long tail, but it's quite not as stretchy as I would want it to be potentially, because like without stretching this out it only is like about, well, not even 45 centimeters wide, and this would have to be wider to be the kind of like an oversized fit that I would want it to be. Like short width blocking, if I stretch this out to the absolute max, probably the fit will get better, but I'm just so bothered with like such an open gauge. This stretches out so much and this doesn't. So I don't know. I feel like at this point I could still unravel, even though it might be a little bit of a headache because it's mohair, but it's such an open gauge, I feel like it would be fine. There's not that many hours in this project yet, so if I just wanted to do a different cast on, I feel like now would be the time to make that decision. This is quite the interesting lighting situation, but while we've still got a little bit of light, I wanted to show you my progress on this sweater. It's been a couple days since I last showed you where I'm at when I unraveled the whole thing, so fair to say I've made some real progress. I've got the entire front panel done. I've just done the shoulders, so now it's time to move on to the back panel. This has been a really quick project to make. I've been working a couple hours in the morning, a couple hours in the evening, before and after bed. Today I did a longer day of this just because, I don't know, I wasn't feeling like writing my thesis. I was wholly uninspired, so I did a little bit of work on this when I probably should have been writing, but it's alright. I'm quite pleased with it. I am in love with the colours, although I don't think you can really see them right now because the sun is setting. Like literally I can see it going down. So the light is quite harsh and orange, so I will show you in better lighting what they actually look like, but anyway, they're vibrant and it's lovely. I am a little bit bothered by the neckline, you know, showing that bind off edge and then not having anything to clean these up. There's nothing included in the pattern, so I think after the testing is done I might add some I-cord there. On the hemline I'm not that bothered by the raw edge, but anyway, that's where I'm at. And yeah, that's it for today. This lighting situation is not good. Let's do an update in terrible lighting. Where weren't we? Because I really want to cast on the sleeves, but I wanted to show you the top is now functionable. We've got the shoulders seamed together, we've got the back panel all complete, so now all that's left is the sleeves and a ridiculous amount of ends to weave in. Yeah. I feel like I could have planned my stripes out better, in which case I wouldn't have needed to cut my yarn like after each row. Sure, there are these like some places, for example here, where I've got like a color sandwiched in between two stripes of the same color, so in those cases I've carried them over and there's no ends, but in every other way all of these stripes I've cut the yarn so there is a lot to weave in, but I'm liking it. I really enjoy all of this color. So here's how we're looking. I love it. I don't know if these colors are like the best for me necessarily. I feel like at least the hot pink is like a little bit too hot. You know, it's probably like a winter color if we're going by like the color seasons, but I don't mind it. Now I gotta go cast on some sleeves. Excuse the wind, I am on a matcha run. I was so inspired by the greens in the sweater that I've been craving matcha for the past like I don't even know how many days. So now that our nearest like Asian market has a bubble tea and dorayaki combo, we've got to try. It's really sweet, but I like it. I have red bean paste filling. I really wanted to sit outside and knit for a little bit, but it's still a little bit too chilly. I feel like we've had a couple of those days that are like plus 15 already, but they're still kind of here and there. Now it's maybe 5 degrees or so, so a bit too chilly to just like sit outside and knit. It's really warm for walking, but if you're just sitting still, no, my hands are gonna freeze. So instead I came inside. I'm gonna finish my matcha and my sleeve. It's almost done. I've got a couple of rows to go, so that's where we're at. I'm gonna cast on the second sleeve in a second, but it's looking quite nice. That green reminds me so much of matcha. And well, I already drank like almost all of my boba. This is obviously milk tea, so it's not that vibrant, but what a vibe would it be to sit in the sun and drink matcha and knit with that. Absolutely, I have to make that happen when it's a little bit warmer. I've got 2 days before I leave for Milan and before the deadline of this, so we've got to get a hustle on. This vlog is so far just like a crazy compilation of insane angles. I hope you're not too bothered, but I have binded off the first sleeve. I love it, it's so cozy. I added a couple of extra rows. I don't think I've ever made a sweater where I didn't want to add a couple of extra rows, even though I don't have like long arms, but I don't know if like my tension just is that way, or if I mean, I prefer my sleeves like extra long, so maybe that's just it. I feel like the length is okay. I probably, well, we'll see after blocking if it still needs like a little extra, if I'll do like a ribbing or something, but other than that, I'm really loving it. This was my first time doing colors or anything like that, first time doing stripes at all, and there were no instructions in the pattern on when to switch colors, and I definitely went wild. I wanted it to be really carefree and just have no like repetition, so I feel like at points it's a little wild. But like, again, it's a crazy colorful thing, so I don't really mind that it's a little messy. I feel like I probably want the next sleeve to not be the same stripe pattern, so on there I might go a little easier. Like, I feel like here that's like a little wild. I could have left the dark one out and it would have probably been a little less busy, but I really don't mind it, even if it's a little wild and crazy. I feel like these colors kind of call for it to be a little wild and crazy, so I really don't mind. I'm loving it. It's a little later. I'm just about to cast on my second sleeve, but I wanted to show you my yarn situation right now. So I've got the body, I've got the sleeve, the one, and here's what I've got left. I already used up one yellow, but I have multiples of this one because I used it for the limoncello cardigan and I had at least 1.5 left over from that. So technically for this project I had 2.5, a little less than a half of this yellow to use up, and I have used the one that I bought and the little leftover, less than a half. So basically this one is nearly full, so one almost full yellow. The rest are looking quite thin. So here I've got the green one, and I was hoping to get green ribbing, possibly, maybe, depending on how this blocks out, on the bottom, the hem. We shall see. This is like see-through. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but like I can definitely see through it. So that's running really low, as well as the light pink. That is not quite as low, but it's nearly there. The hot pink and this one that I wanted to get rid of, that's from the Stevie sweater from like 2 years ago. This is the one I wanted to use up, and that is the thickest ball that I've got right now. So this color scheme definitely was not the one to choose if I wanted to use this up, but with that said, I am really happy with these colors. If I cannot, which I absolutely cannot, use this up all for this project, it just means that I have to do another sweater with that very red color scheme to use this up, so it's not terrible news. And the hot pink, also, I'm gonna have some left over. I don't want the entire sleeve to be hot pink, so so yeah, we shall see how this goes. I am gonna just go with the flow. Look at all those ends. I'm not looking forward to that. Okay, it's the next day and we've got a finished sweater. That I feel like was super quick. It's been about a week. I have to check which day it was when I started. I am definitely nowhere near done with weaving in all the ends, but I have weaved in everything like near the hem and the cuffs, and the neckline. So I feel like it is now time to block it because tomorrow I'm going to Milan. So I want to get this done and photographed before that happens. So I'm gonna pop it on for you guys so you can see the pre-plucking fit, and then it's time to block. Okay, so as you can see, it's a little short-ish, but I like it. I am not like 100% sure if my stripe pattern is perfect. I'm a bit bothered by this green one here, so maybe we'll see when I have time. I might do some like surgical knitting magic and do this bit here. I have no idea if that's even possible, but I feel like it maybe would be. So if it bothers me still in like a week or two, I might try and take that out and replace that with a yellow, like place the sleeve on like a lifeline and try and get that out. But we'll see. I don't know. I mean, looking at it, it's not bothering me too much, but if I would take something, if I would change something, I would probably take that out, because if you compare these two sleeves, this like beginning of the arm is a lot calmer than this one. The sweater all around is quite busy, so I feel like it would be nice if this would also be like a little bit more simpler. So yeah, but otherwise I love it. It was really stressful to work on this next sleeve. I was just like running out of colors. I don't have any light pink left or green left, so those were done completely, and therefore I feel like you can clearly see that this is a little bit busier than this one, but I don't really mind it. It looks all right. Mainly I just want to change this one. So yeah, that's what it's looking like. And now I shall block it. Okay, it's done. And I am obsessed. I am on such a color kick. I feel like I say this in every video that I've posted recently, but I love it. It makes me so happy to see all these colors. And I am so interested in colors just in general because of like color theory. So if you are interested in color theory too, like let me know. Do these suit me? I feel like I am so bad at being objective with myself because I look at my face obviously every day when I'm doing my makeup, and just like being on the internet, I look at my face when I'm editing, and I find it so hard to be objective. Like I like these colors, so I want them to look good on me, but I don't know. Tell me, what do you think? Do they look good on me? Am I a spring? Am I a summer? What do you guys think? But anyway, this is the sweater all done and blocked. I am obsessed with how the sleeves turned out. I think the length is just perfect, super comfy. I was saying before there might be a couple of things I want to change about this, but now that I've had it a while, I am not so sure anymore. First thing was the collar. I was so sure I wanted to add like an I-cord or something to kind of clean it up a little bit, but honestly I am not too bothered, like at all. I think after blocking it came out quite neat. I used the Ginny's surprisingly stretchy bind off method, I think it's called, and I will say I think it blocked really nicely. Obviously there's a limit to everything, so it doesn't stretch past this, so after blocking it's not stretchy anymore because I stretched it out to the complete max. I will say the front is riding up a little bit because there is no shoulder shaping on the back. If that bothers you, it doesn't bother me that much. Like sure, I can feel the seam a little bit because it's in like so far back. If that bothers you, you can just kind of emulate the shoulder shaping on the front, also on the back, and that will make it so that the seam will then move like a little bit further on your shoulders, and it won't cause this like difference in the length. I will also say I am a very like tall torsoed person, can you say that? Like most of my length in my body is in my back, in my torso, so most things will look a little short on me. So I think I'm just going to be wearing it with like a pair of high-waisted bottoms then. I don't really mind. I wore this so much already. I wore it to Easter twice. I feel like this is the perfect Easter color combo. So cheerful and so colourful, and now we have May Day coming up in just a couple days, so I think that would also work for that as well. A lot of these like spring festivities, it's such a cheerful like colorway, so I feel like that's just perfect. What else was I talking about the modifications? I think this bothered me for a little bit. I was wondering if I should just like take it out, but I don't know if I'm bothered enough to do all that because that's a lot of work. The only modification that I might actually do is I really like how this like hot pink border looks on the sleeve, so I might undo like the last 2 rows and the bind off to add like a similar pink cast off or bind off edge to both the sleeves because I really like how it looks. But I don't think I will bother doing anything else because I like it as it is, and it's really busy. Like me deciding to make also like the sleeves in a different stripe pattern, it looks really busy, but I feel like that also kind of plays into like the whole handmade aesthetic, and I really like that because it looks wild, but in a good way, I think. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you are interested in making your rushed watercolor sweater as well, you can check out the pattern on Grace's page. I have been calling this like just the watercolor sweater because technically it should be brushed because it's in the name, but I haven't brushed it. So it feels weird to be calling it the brushed sweater, not having brushed it. I might try what it would look like on the inside, but I've kind of just like fallen in love with how it looks right now. But I think with all that said, I'm gonna leave this video here. I'm gonna love you and leave you. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you are making something while watching. Were you knitting, crocheting? What were you making? I'd love to know. I love the inspo. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I will be back in a couple weeks with a new video, so I hope to see you then. And until then, bye.